Hey Nerf Herders, I'm Addy Thomas.
And I am Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View. Don't forget, you can follow all of our podcasts. Just go to certainpov.com. There's Another Pass. There's the flagship show, the news show, Certain Point of View. We do reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. And, of course, the Scruffy Nerf Herders. All of that, again, is at certainpov.com. Let's get right into it. We have got a ton of news today. J. Mike, hey, how you doing there, buddy?
Hi, guys. How are you guys doing?
Hi, J. Mike.
Hey, J. Mike. It's good to see you, and it's good to see that you're learning mic presence.
Yeah. Guys, we really got to step up our game by bringing people on this show
who are good. Yeah. Oh, hey, J. Mike.
Or no, I mean, hey, buddy. Just in general, I think we just need to step up our game. That's all.
We do. And either way, it's good. We're happy to have you with us, J. Mike, as we go over some of the news and TV shows that I'm sure plenty of them you have not watched, but the news you'll still be relevant.
I mean, I'm not going to say no, but I'll try.
I think we all know what's really going on.
All right, so let's get right into it. So EA currently has the most hated comment in Reddit history. There was a thread on Reddit criticizing one of the systems in the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront 2, specifically an in-game currency only earned by playing time to unlock hero characters such as Darth Vader. Unlocking a playable Vader would take 60,000 credits, or 40 hours of game time.
Good Lord. Oh,
that's what Reddit felt. EA responded to the critics on Reddit with a statement that started by saying, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes." And there's more to this statement, and there's a lot of great social media responses. You know, like someone said, I take great pride and accomplishment when I pay extra for fries at Burger King. You know, like all sorts of extra stuff. Anyway, so let's see. Reddit users made it the most disliked comment on Reddit by taking the title. They took the title from Jill Stein's criticizing nuclear energy. That was at about 11,000 dislikes. EA's comment was downvoted over 163,000 times. EA has actually today, they already responded by announcing that they would reduce the currency needed to unlock each hero character by 75%.
Holy crap. They're swinging the other way.
I mean, 163%, like that's I'm 163,000 times. I mean, they got the message. So
I guess
40 hours for Vader.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It is a lot, but I also understand what EA is saying,
it's
which
reduced to 10 hours for Vader.
Right. Like
that's
I understand. I'm sorry. I'm gonna break. Look, we just talked about WoW and Classic WoW and how much I enjoyed Classic WoW because it was fucking hard. The game was really hard. For you to get attuned and for you to grind and for you to get all the gear, it was hard.
Yeah.
And there is an aspect of that I really do appreciate. Like, in that game, not everybody got to play endgame.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, we're in a different world now where we want to sing Kumbaya, hold hands, and nobody wants to have their feelings hurt. But sometimes it's nice to have to fucking work for something.
I would agree with you, except this is a totally different genre of game. This is not an MMO. In an MMO, you do have different things you can do. You have different things that you can occupy your time with. Playing Vader is part of the appeal of a game like this, where like you can play the hero characters and you can play the classes. If it was unlocking a vanity item or a title or even like a special mount or something like that, like I get that. Yes, that putting that amount of time, but for
so you would play 40 hours for a mount, but you wouldn't play 40 hours for Vader?
Hold on. Like, first off, there are other mounts that are available. At that point, it's purely vanity. There is a difference. And yes, I have put that kind of time into stuff for MMO.
There's other characters to play.
You're talking about but the hero characters are part of the experience. Like, a lot of their advertising has been about being the heroes, like being Yoda, being Rey, being Vader, being all these different characters. Like, and you're talking about there's one activity in this game, and it's playing these maps. Like, this isn't like coming off of like the unlockables for just doing the campaign. This is by just doing like regular
multiplayer
matches. And it's not like there are several, like with an MMO, you do have your questing, you have your PvP, you have different activities and different stories you can engage in. Whereas part of the the gate in PvP, in WoW PvP, in MMO PvP, is doing those extra, those battlegrounds and the arenas again and again and again. But just to play a character, I do agree with the fans on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
40 hours sounds like a lot. How long is each battleground or each map that you have to play?
Not 40 hours.
No, obviously. But, is it 20 minutes?
It varies depending on the objectives and the size of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's purely objective-based, then that can go pretty fast, depending on how bad your team is. So you could have
but what was it, 10 minutes? On average, how long?
My total in-game time for Overwatch, and I've played a bit, is only 10 hours. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but like you said, you've only played a bit.
But I'm a casual
You're
player.
super casual.
Yeah.
You're not even logging in every week.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, but that being said,
So with
on the marketing,
the amount of effort that you've put into Overwatch, do you feel that you deserve a character like a Vader-esque character for the amount of effort that you've put into Overwatch?
Vader-esque characters, it's different because for this game, advertising, playing the heroes is part of the experience of this game for Battlefront 2. It's totally different from Overwatch, where it's if you could only play Stormtroopers. So let me go back to the last Battlefront release. Part of the I was having fun initially, but then just to unlock a shotgun to make me better at my character, I had to put in 12 hours, and I was not interested in doing that. That's the kind of customization in a first person shooter that you should get early on. Now, if it was a much more higher powered shotgun, this was a regular shotgun. That is kind of a problem there. And it's not it's not like you have the option to just pay for it and get it. If you wanted to just pay for it and get it, then fine. I'd put $10 down to unlock Vader. I don't have a problem with the microtransaction, to be perfectly honest. I know some people aren't crazy about it, but 40 hours of game time is that's the point where sometimes a game can get played out, and if you haven't already gotten that kind of reward for 40 hours of playing a first-person shooter, you do risk the same kind of burnout you had with the first Battlefront.
Yeah, I mean, if each map is roughly let's say 15 minutes,
yeah,
it's 50. You have to play 50 times.
15 minutes.
15 minutes would be 4, so it's 4 an hour.
Yeah, times 40.
40. Oh, yeah, I forgot the 0.
Yeah,
yeah. So it'd be 500.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. For one character.
For one character.
For one character.
It's just it only unlocks Vader. It doesn't unlock.
Yeah.
Well, is he the only one that's locked?
No, all the characters are locked.
So you have to. Are you unlocking characters along the way to that 40 hours?
No,
or it's just
Iden Versio, the campaign character,
yeah,
is behind I think 12,000 credits. So yes, it's far less investment. But all Yoda is something like 30,000.
But you're but you have to spend those credits.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you have to go play more to. Yeah. See, I would be totally okay with Vader being 40 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
If along the way you're unlocking other heroic characters, and he's just the final one that you unlock.
And see, that's the thing. He's not.
Yeah.
Because,
he's just one of the others.
Yeah.
And you just have to pay
Yoda
for it.
is up there. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Then that's a lot. That is a lot. Okay. I'm with Reddit on this one, I guess. I see what EA was doing, and I like what EA was doing and saying.
I would be fine with a system closer to the Heroes of the Storm system, where there are multiple ways of unlocking the character. You have the currency, you have the loot boxes, and you also you can just pay for the crystals to unlock the character. So having all three of those options, sometimes I'm willing to wait. I'm probably going to put cash out for Alexstrasza when she comes out, because I will want to play her pretty close to immediately. But some of the characters, right now, I'm saving up my gold from doing quests, and I'm willing to wait on by investing that time to pay for other characters.
I get it. Okay.
So rumors are that Gal Gadot will not sign on for Wonder Woman 2 unless Brett Ratner and his production company are no longer partnered with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has denied the story, but has also mentioned that Ratner's company is not financing the Wonder Woman sequel. Gal Gadot is actually doing this because of allegations against Ratner for sexual harassment. So this is kind of filed in with all the other stories that are going on right now as far as sexual allegations.
It's just spin the wheel and guess who's coming up this week with sexual allegations. Right. What's your take on this?
You know what? I think that's fair. I mean, if she feels that way, then that's fine. I mean, obviously, like I also want to be careful of, someone screwing over another person's career, but like we're also at a point where like Ratner it has been known like there are a lot of these guys who these have been open secrets, which is the weirdest
secrets.
Yeah, the weirdest phrase ever, honestly. But it's I think it's good that some of these are happening to people. Who knows who'll be able to restore their career. People thought Mel Gibson would never have a chance again. I don't know. I mean, this is a tough situation to sort out. But I mean, as people are feeling more empowered who didn't feel they could speak out against this are able to, I do side with that. Because I mean, because a lot of these people, Harvey Weinstein, especially was in such a position of power, and toppling that kind of position, like that does prevent a lot of people from being willing to speak out. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, it's ugly. Like what these guys have been doing is ugly. But like you said, it's been an open secret in Hollywood for a long time with a lot of these people, and some of the accusations are 40 years old.
Yeah,
and people have had a long career thanks to keeping their mouth shut for 40 years.
Yeah.
I think and I was talking to a friend of mine at the radio station today, and I was like, I wonder, it almost seems to me like there needs to be some sort of statute of limitations on these accusations. Like, it seems unfair to me that you benefited from a guy like Harvey Weinstein putting you in movies and you becoming fabulously wealthy and becoming fabulously rich and fabulously famous as a result of Harvey, right? And yes, he did horrible things, and yes, you had to do maybe something that you really didn't like at the time. But it also seems unfair to me that you kept your mouth shut for 40 years and benefited from that relationship and now want to come out against it.
I get that logic,
and I don't want to I don't want to minimize. I'm not trying to minimize what's happening.
You're not doing that. I know some people are going to hear that and say, "Oh my God, you're totally minimizing what people went through." And I get that you're not. I think the thing is though that I think that experience though is people do it to survive, to pay the bills. Sure, you could give up that career and do something else, but we also have to look at they invested how many years to even get to that point, and isn't it worth this little bit of sacrifice and this little compromise? So I think that was the logic for them staying in that position. But I don't feel I can say, you know what, you can't, that you can take away someone being able to speak out. They're not, there's legal issues, and then there's court of public opinion, and those are two very separate things. And yes, you do have, I don't know. It's such a tough situation.
It's an ugly situation. There's, and it's easy to point fingers and it's easy to make accusations. One thing that I do fear a little bit about all of this that's happening is that it's going to just snowball into, if somebody's accused, they're guilty.
Yeah, and that's where I think people do need to be concerned. I've seen it on college campuses where, there are plenty of documented cases where people, like a student will get accused of it.
That's all that has to happen.
And it's proven that
it's not true.
Not,
yeah.
And then
still the guy is made to suffer and is removed from school and has his life basically ruined in a lot of ways just because somebody didn't agree with it.
I still kind of
How do you feel like was Gal Gadot one of the people that Ratner
She hasn't
any run-ins with this guy.
Hasn't come out with
She's
that?
just saying, I don't want to work with it. I don't want this guy's money in a movie I'm part of.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if she's had any personal experience with him like that. But I know Ellen Page did on the set of X-Men 3. Like that one is documented, and other.
Wait, isn't Ellen Page a lesbian?
Well, yeah, and he was making fun of, no, he wasn't. He was, well, basically he forced her to come out on set.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, all sorts of, and mocked her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he's just a dick.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's honestly, speaking of X-Men, it's a matter of time before Bryan Singer,
Well, somebody already did. Jessica Chastain already.
Has already?
Yeah, and she was like, well, Bryan Singer, da 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 da. And I guess because it didn't go anywhere, so I guess Bryan still has enough juice in the industry to be like, whatever, bitch.
After X-Men Apocalypse, how does he still have juice in the industry?
Yeah, I don't know, but
I
a
guess
lot
they're
of
making
these
a Phoenix
well, that's the
movie,
thing
so.
that I'm noticing a lot about this. A lot of this is happening to like 50+ older guys who like don't have the juice they used to have in Hollywood, where they were a little
C.K.
Louis C.K.'s old.
Yeah, but Louis C.K. Let's not say he
still-
doesn't have juice. This has been like the height of his career, and Kevin Spacey, like House of Cards.
Again,
is
though,
huge.
Kevin Spacey, like that was like the worst kept secret in
Yeah.
all of Hollywood. Everybody knew that one.
Takai is definitely on,
Like,
long
come on.
gone.
And then Richard Dreyfuss is
Yeah.
another. We're like, Richard Dreyfuss?
When was the
Really?
last time we saw
We're
him?
bringing out Richard Dreyfuss? Like, I thought he was dead. I'm
Right?
like, what? Are you kidding? We're trying to ruin this guy's career? Like, what? That's where, like, I start going, okay, what's the point in this? Like, what are you getting out of it this far down the road?
Thing is, but see, it's not just about a point. It is about emotional toll for certain things like this. And there are people's careers who have been screwed over by this. This isn't.
Well, that's the
just
other thing that I want to add. Like, we brought up Louis C.K. Like, that's what I want. Like, okay, so Louis was exposing himself to his female employees, right?
Right.
The
comedian.
the article that I read, one of the people who had talked about it, she said that he asked if he could. She said no, and that was the end of it. Now, when she worked for him, she said no. He didn't fire her.
Right.
He just said, hey, can I show you my dick? Which is better than what your roommate used to do to you.
Yes.
So.
And I don't live there anymore.
Right, exactly. You made the right choice. You were like, you know what? This is not a situation I want to be in. I can find another roommate. Okay? This chick said no. He didn't fire her. The other girls who, if this is the same thing, and I don't know. Honestly, I haven't been paying close enough attention to this. But, like, my question is, did he ask or did he just show? Because if he just showed, okay, totally dick move.
I saw reports of him just.
He would just we would walk in the room and there was his dick.
Yeah.
Which is awkward. Okay. Whatever. Who cares? It's not my problem. If Gal Gadot doesn't want Brett Ratner's money, there's plenty of other people who have a shit ton of money that will throw it into Wonder Woman. This is to me, that's kind of a non-story.
Yeah.
Like whether or not Brett Ratner throws his money into Wonder Woman 2 or not is irrelevant. Who cares? Like, when's the last time anybody really gave a shit about that guy?
All right, so Sony Pictures has announced a new Spider-Verse spin-off movie about Morbius the Living Vampire. That just came. I think I just saw the news for that today. So now, moving on from Venom, they are doing a solo Morbius movie. There will not be Tom Holland Spider-Man in this movie, but this
just in the same way there's not going to be Tom Holland Spider-Man and Venom.
Right.
They're just doing all of the Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man.
Kind of. Yeah, pretty much. Not kind of. They are.
How could you have Venom without Spider-Man, though?
How do you have Morbius?
Well, it's going to be Venom versus Carnage.
But
they're going anti-hero for Venom.
And Morbius versus Daylight.
My son.
This is one of the movies we said, a character we said we.
I definitely want to see Morbius. I just think I don't love this whole like we're creating a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. In it. It just seems dumb to me.
Do you think if Sony had the rights, do you think we'd get a chance? I mean, if Disney had the rights to Spider-Man, do you think we'd get a chance to get this deep into the villains catalog?
Yeah.
You think so?
It's their number one hero. It is their. They would be making Spider-Man movies every goddamn year if they could.
And we'd see a lot more Spider-Man villains probably even in other people's movies. Too,
yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. I wish we could.
So Amazon has officially greenlight one show that hopes to rule them all. The company has made a multi-season production commitment to a television adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy epic, The Lord of the Rings. But there's a catch, creatively speaking. The series will explore storylines set before the events in the Fellowship of the Ring. It seems that the war to destroy the One Ring, as chronicled in Peter Jackson's trilogy, will not be told in the TV version. So this story is either set before The Hobbit or in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Amazon's deal includes a potential addition of a spin-off series as well.
So we're getting the story before the story we all care about, with probably characters we don't care about, just set in a world we care about.
This is going to be a tough sell.
I'm not loving this.
Why
would you pay $200 million to the Tolkien estate to tell a story nobody knows?
This is vague because the thing is they've only said before Fellowship of the Ring. The wording of this is weird because it's not just like before, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. But it's kind of implied that it won't be touching, obviously, The Hobbit, that it won't be touching The Lord of the Rings or anything that Peter Jackson did. So you kind of assume The Hobbit is in that too. But this could be the Silmarillion, essentially. Like, we could be getting those stories. So, yeah, this one's a tough one. If they are going Silmarillion, like, you do have lots of stories to pull from. It is pulling from Tolkien's work. So it's not like they're making up other stuff. This isn't like the Shadow of War games. So, yeah, this one...
Do you think the Silmarillion is worth $200 million just to get the rights to?
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of goddamn money.
But I don't think Amazon would have put that kind of money down without enough confidence in the franchise. I mean,
Jeff Bezos has so much money. This could just be purely masturbatory.
That's right. He's a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, he just bought it just because he could do it.
Yeah.
Here's $200 million.
Hey, I'm okay with that, to be honest. I mean, this might come in time, just as Game of Thrones is well, actually, we'll have a couple years probably in between the end of Game of Thrones. And
Game of Thrones is never coming back. We'll never see the end of that series.
Well, whatever. George R.R. Martin isn't the one who's producing the show.
It's still they keep every time I see their name pop up in the newsfeed, it's like it's being pushed further back. You'll never see this show again.
2030,
right?
Final season.
Your children will see this if they live long enough.
Yeah, I think there is potential material, but it is a little bit. I'm a little less enthused because I was actually one of the few I think that was hoping to see sort of a new take, the TV version of Lord of the Rings, just because I'd like to see the depth in that story mined a little bit more on screen. But that being said, I mean it's been 20 years since. It's been almost 20 years since Lord of the Rings came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did the first one come out?
2001.
Yeah, it's time.
2 and 3.
God.
Yeah,
it's time. It's
been
time.
A while.
It wouldn't be on.
We've had a lot more Spider-Man movies in that time. We've had a lot
like
of bad.
7 different people play Spider-Man.
How many
Batman.
X-Men movies have we had?
Batman
in that time?
movies.
Like
the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm pretty sure we've seen the Phoenix Saga like 17 times.
And we're about to see it again.
Right?
Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like we're going to get Lord of the Rings burnout from this.
You
Especially
think so?
after The Hobbit. Everyone was like,
Yeah, no, so I think this is, but I actually think this could be a bounce back for after The Hobbit, because The Hobbit
really left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths,
Yeah.
my own included.
Yeah, because I was actually like, the first one wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I was on board for it. I'll give it time. I actually liked Desolation of Smaug, but Battle of the Five Armies was atrocious. That wasn't even a movie. So
it was a DC movie.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah, it was very much.
It suffered from a lot of the DC problems.
Yeah, and so it consequently, like that whole Hobbit trilogy really fell apart. And I know I hear people say it should be one movie. I thought it should be 2 movies, and But, that being said, that whole thing fell apart very quickly. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of redemption for the franchise after that. All right. Well, for years, Brian Michael Bendis has been one of the biggest and best-known writers of Marvel Comics. The author helped create Miles Morales and Jessica Jones and has spent years writing them and other iconic Marvel characters like Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Daredevil, and more. And now he's jumped ship to DC.
Wow.
The move was confirmed in a statement issued to DC Comics' Twitter, confirming not just that Bendis was now writing for the publisher, but had also signed an exclusivity deal with DC, effectively terminating Bendis' ongoing and involved relationship with Marvel.
And now he gets a movie. He'll get a movie.
Well, it's not like this has never happened before where like big name writers have switched.
But this is
a big one right now. And honest to God, this is probably the best thing that could happen to DC. Like they need somebody to right that ship and stop rebooting their universe every 6.5 months.
Marvel's been having issues too. Let's not pretend that they especially with big events.
Yeah. Marvel has always had problems with events.
I think both of them have had problems with big events, and I think both of them definitely had a problem with big events.
Well,
Secret Wars, the new Secret Wars from Marvel was.
I'm not talking about.
No, you're talking about DC. He's trying to defend DC.
I was like 2011. That reboot was like, oh, that was trash. They had some cool things going on in the background.
New 52,
the New 52 thing was trash. They had some cool things going on in the background, but that kind of like fell apart when no one really cared anymore.
Yeah.
And DC Rebirth was really good.
Well, then they did like Forever Evil. Sucked.
Yeah, because everyone was like, they're doing this again. They did it like 5 years ago, and it's already happening again. Oh my gosh, choose something new. But
and then there was another
reboot after that.
Trinity War, and then
that's right. I forgot about Trinity War. I always forget that happened.
They tried like Trinity War, kind of like tied together.
That wasn't so much a reboot though.
It was a reboot / tie-in from the new reboot from New 52. They tried to tie everything together.
Well, which is the one where like there was another reboot that happened? It wasn't another Crisis, was it? It was the one where like I know one of the events that happened.
They had a Crisis already too.
There was another Crisis?
Yeah. A second Crisis?
Yeah. This is like the third Crisis, isn't it? Yeah.
This is the third time they've had a Crisis?
Yeah. And because there was one where I remember, the only thing I remember out of it was reading that Batman asked some sort of, I guess, entity or whatever about the Joker.
That was
the one where he revealed there was actually 3 Jokers,
there was a Dark Side
not just
War.
one.
Yeah. That's when, that was Dark Side Wars or something like that, when they all became gods.
Right. and then they did that sort of middle reboot, like, because that was where the reboot happened, where Scott Snyder killed Batman, but then he came back. That was weird.
There's a whole bunch of really weird stuff.
There's been a lot of weird stuff going on in all of the books lately.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's be fair. Like, I don't want to just shit on DC because Marvel has been having some problems.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it is we could talk forever just about the problems with events in mainstream comics, especially.
We've been talking about doing that show forever. We need to just do it.
That's true. It'd probably be shorter than we expect. Is the thing. We hate it. And that's a fit. That's it.
Finn.
But bringing it back to Bendis, though. So here's the thing. Bendis is good. He's great with Miles Morales. He's great with Jessica Jones. He's great with Daredevil. Not so great with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And here's the thing. DC has a couple grounded characters, but all their characters are much more godlike.
Right.
So I don't know how confident I am in Brian Michael Bendis
being able to handle and do justice to types of characters that he's shown in the past to not do so well with.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. That is fair.
I don't like Superman. Yes, I'm predisposed to not like, but I don't see him being quite the right match for Superman.
What about a Batman and grounding out Batman?
Batman has good writers. That's the thing. Tom King is great right now.
They have the Bat Metal thing going on.
What about like
Snyder,
a Nightwing? Like what about in like the Batman
still
family?
Like the Bat family,
the Bat family, because that's really the only place you go with that, unless you want to go with like Swamp Thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I want to make an argument for
Swamp Thing.
No, for Green Lantern.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's cosmic, only because those characters are tend to be a little bit more flawed than the rest of the DC pantheon.
Yeah.
Just because they're able to diversify that group enough, they tend to be able to
have a little more
character.
have a little more character development to them.
Because they I know you're skeptical right now, J Mike. I saw
this is a big pull.
But this is the thing. The Lanterns, they've worked very hard at differentiating each of their personalities. Because tell me, how different is Wally West from Barry Allen? Like, at the end of the day. Like, what characteristically really different?
He's 3 miles per hour. He's 3 miles per hour slower,
right?
Or something ridiculous like that.
Red hair.
Yeah, they're both sort of like, they tend to be more fun. You know, they don't do a whole lot. Like, I mean, maybe I don't know. Like, maybe Brian Michael Bendis will do the seminal run on Cyborg.
Oh God!
What if he did? What if he
or
took
Mr. Terrific? I don't know.
What if he took over Green Arrow?
Okay, I can see that. And I know there have been good Arrow runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I can see that. Like, or Deathstroke, I could see him running with Titans. Him, you know, yeah, Teen Titans might be able to handle it.
No, because Teen Titans is just demigods.
No, they're like sidekicks.
But yeah, it's a little bit more mixed, but it is a little bit more in the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe.
Yeah,
because you got Starfire, and sometimes you got some of the powerhouses too.
Cyborg is not a powerhouse.
Anyway, Jeff Johns thinks he is.
Stop bringing him back to the movies and stuff. Keep him in the background, please.
All right, we're going to stick with DC a little bit more on this one. We know Black Adam won't be the antagonist for the upcoming Shazam movie, which led fans to believe that they wouldn't get to see Dwayne Johnson bring the popular villain to life until his own solo outing hit theaters. However, a new report now suggests that The Rock might actually debut as Black Adam sooner than anyone expected. According to The Wrap, the plan is to introduce the character in the upcoming Suicide Squad sequel. It seems the follow-up to David Ayer's critically blasted but lucrative supervillain team-up flick would see the members of the squad tasked with tracking down a weapon of mass destruction, which turns out to be the extremely powerful being known as Black Adam.
Anybody want to touch this?
I'll watch this on Netflix. Because fool me once.
See, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with David Ayer because I get the sense that Suicide Squad was like Frankenstein into being, and David Ayer's made good movies. You know, he's made Training Day, he's made Fury.
Yeah,
like he's a good director.
It's hard to believe that he totally forgot how to make a good movie.
Yeah. And like again, like we also saw like the response to the trailer that had Bohemian Rhapsody was why they put in like all sorts of songs and just tried like changing the tone of it, and sometimes it not working and sometimes it working, and it was just and also
that movie really suffered from Warner Brothers getting their fingers in it.
That one is like just like Fan Four Stick. That one you can see the fingerprints of studio, of the studio messing with the movie.
Yeah.
So. The problem I have, though, is Suicide Squad, the nature of those characters don't lend themselves to, like, big end-of-the-world scenarios.
Yeah.
Like Enchantress.
Yeah.
And Black Adam is right in that mix.
Yeah.
It needs to be more covert, secretive, government.
Black Ops kind of stuff, yeah.
Exactly. Like
unless they, like, change up the roster a little bit.
Even if they change up the roster, like it at a certain point, it isn't believable that
a chick with a
Amanda
baseball bat,
right,
is beating the Enchantress,
or that Amanda Waller can keep some of those powerhouses in check. You know, it makes
she can blow their heads off.
Oh, right,
with the chip,
exactly. Even though they have magic, you know,
magic and powers,
you know.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Movie magic, guys. Come
that
on.
being said, like I'm all for seeing The Rock in a movie, so but I don't know about Suicide Squad.
On Netflix.
I agree. Like I would love to see The Rock in a Suicide Squad movie. I would actually like to see him be in the Suicide Squad. Like him and Will Smith together.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Would be so much fun together. Yeah, I mean, so I guess like them facing off against each other would be kind of fun too.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like the power sets don't make a hell of a lot of sense. Like how are you gonna stop? Like who you got?
Deadshot's gonna snipe
shoot him.
Black Adam.
Shoot him with
Snipe him and,
Well, like,
and then
Black Adam can't be killed, really, right?
no.
Because I can't recall a
He
time.
routinely kicks the crap out of Superman.
Yeah.
Because magic.
Yeah.
as the good Lord intended.
Yes.
Magic.
Thank
But
you,
it's
Black
not,
Adam.
it's not even like Billy Batson kills them or anything like
No.
that. Or,
They just knock each other around.
and then he just decides to stop fighting.
Like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Bye. Boom.
Yeah. or whatever he's interested in accomplishing, he's
either accomplishes it or doesn't.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I mean, it'll be fun. That's
Yeah.
like at this point with DC movies, you just got to go in and go. All I can hope for is that it's fun.
Yeah, which is the reviews on Justice League so far.
Yeah.
Is that it's fun?
Yeah, it's fun and it has lots of plot issues, but you know,
You just gotta be like, well, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see these guys.
Well, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's live-action adaptation of Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson's The Boys is becoming a reality. Amazon has ordered 8 episodes of the adaptation of the adults-only comic book. Dynamite Entertainment's The Boys, which ran for 72 issues from 2008 to 2012, depicted a world wherein superheroes had become amoral celebrities that often engage in destructive and selfish behavior. The Boys are a CIA squad that keep those heroes in check, taking them out permanently if need be.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know this run at all.
Well, so you also like Preacher, and
Yeah.
Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg have done that. This is a Garth Ennis comic. Do you think
I'm completely unfamiliar with the work.
Yeah,
I mean,
too.
I like the names that are attached to it. The description that you just read about it makes me go, okay,
Yeah,
I'll check
maybe.
it out. It might be
Yeah.
great. It might be amazing. It might be the best thing I've ever seen.
It's
It might
only 8
also be-
episodes. We watched that many of the Inhumans.
right? So yeah, I'm willing to give this a shot. Like 8 episodes is a really good number to tell a good tight short story.
Yeah.
And that's one thing
Unless you're doing the Inhumans.
yes. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg know how to tell good stories and know how to do good adaptations. Now, I don't know whether or not the source material is worth adapting
Yeah.
or not, but I trust those two guys to do a great adaptation and to make it visually interesting, create really interesting characters, and get great performances out of their cast. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm in.
So writer Mark Millar will be joined by artist Oliver Coipel for The Magic Order, the first Millar World comic project to be published by Netflix. Combining elements of fantasy and crime thrillers, the 6-issue series follows 5 magical families who must face a new threat to their survival. Millar says, "My idea with The Magic Order was to take something that's essentially about a secret order of good wizards who got rid of all the bad things hundreds of years ago. But now they live quietly among us with blue-collar jobs and ordinary domestic lives. They have this secret life, but to the outside world, it's all very normal and makes the idea look more like The Sopranos than Lord of the Rings."
So Harry Potter meets The Incredibles.
More like Harry Potter meets The Godfather, I guess? I don't know. Like, this is... It feels
No,
like... Because it's
The
like they're
Sopranos.
working... Yeah, Sopranos. I mean, again, like the mob style of like they're working in the shadows to
But
kind of control.
He said they
things.
got ordinary jobs, so
Yeah, so kind of
like-
like The Incredibles.
yeah, like
yeah,
there's
like the
like-
beginning
I
of The
guess,
Incredibles. Yeah, where like everything has kind of been
yeah.
Yeah,
taking.
I guess
The
I have
thing
to
that
see a
gets-
trailer for
The
this
thing
one.
that gets me is like, oh, they took care of all. They got rid of all the bad things hundreds of years ago.
So what are they doing
doing now? Like, is it just like, oh, how does a magician like put up with a 9-to-5 job? Shit. How do I put up with a 9-to-5 job? I don't know. Like,
Well, so this is the thing, but to the outside world, it's all very normal, and that I thought the description, the idea I got is to the outside world it looks normal, but they have a whole lot of drama inside with
okay.
sort of the mob side of it being like they're working in the shadows to control society, and so maybe we've seen them, do things that they shouldn't be doing to keep things in check, to keep society in order.
but they're not keeping society in order, are they? That's not what it says. That's not what.
Yeah, it's a weird description. I will say that because they
Again,
said they've gotten rid of
un-
all the major bad things.
I'm unfamiliar with the work.
Right.
So could be great. Let's just, you're gonna have to wait and see.
So last year, Guillermo del Toro kicked off a new animated series for Netflix called Troll Hunters, which I've been raving about a young boy Jim, voiced by the late Anton Yelchin, fighting off a horde of trolls living underneath his hometown of Arcadia. It turns out Arcadia's got a few more problems, though, than just trolls. 2 new forces are on the way, big enough to expand the whole thing to actually 3 separate TV series. Announced through Entertainment Weekly, the 2nd season of Troll Hunters will lay the groundwork for 2 new separate animated series about life in Arcadia. 3 Below is one of those series. It's tackling more of a sci-fi bent world of 2 royal aliens fleeing from their planet after a coup to hide among suburban Americana in Arcadia. And the 2nd new series is Wizards, which will be more interconnected than Troll Hunters and 3 Below, uniting these 3 worlds against a mystical threat that threatens all 3 fantastical communities as well as Arcadia itself.
You're the one who watches this show, so
I'm looking forward to it. I like it. They've got great talent. It's Guillermo del Toro doing what del Toro does when he finishes a project. That's a very important disclaimer because most of those go unfinished. But when you get it, they're awesome. Like the detail, the world building he does. It's not like this is the kind of thing I look back and I'm like, I really wish we had a del Toro Hobbit. Like, that would have provided a little bit of a different flavor. But the guy does world building like very few people do right now. I don't know. Can you? Well, I'm hoping Ryan Johnson will join. Will be among those names. I can't think of like Lucas. Of course, is one of the great world builders that we've had. You know, Rowling did an amazing job. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but she did an amazing job world building. Tolkien. Lewis is good.
Lewis is good.
I haven't read some of his stuff outside of Narnia, so and I've heard those were good.
But I mean, like building that world for Narnia, he did a great job.
He
building the Narnia.
He did. But I mean, how many other people are there?
Robert Jordan did a great job with Wheel of Time. And you have Game of Thrones guy.
That's true. Yeah. But they're not a lot. I mean, there are only a few guys who really understand sort of like how to really do that effectively, and I like that he's adding more to it. You know, I've already liked if it was just Troll Hunters and they were still going forward with it. It'd be cool, but they also have limitations because the lead is
just
dead
recast
now.
The voice. It's not like you can see him.
Yeah, but I think they got enough taped so that it leads up. What they've said is it actually already leads to sort of an end of his arc anyway, so that they can change it to another character. It's always weird when they do that, when they recast. They did it on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series that just finished up. It was really weird because it was Leonardo, so it's a major character, but it was a pretty drastic change. Like it was.
Yeah, you got to get a voice that sounds.
But they rationalized
enough.
it because he got into this big fight with the Shredder, so that was like, oh, he shattered his vocal cords, and now he sounds like Seth Green. So I thought it was a little weird. It took a little while to get used to, but like there was a good like 6 episodes, and actually a whole season where like Leonardo is trying to get his mojo back or get his groove back. It should have just been that whole season should have been just titled Leonardo Gets His Groove Back.
Send him down to the Bahamas.
Right. Hey, he went on a spirit walk and everything. It was actually pretty cool. But
nice.
Again, I'm going off course here, but I'm excited for what he has to put out. So here's really some of the 2 really, really big news items. The first one is we're getting a Star Wars live-action TV series from upcoming Disney streaming service. Walt Disney Company Chairman and CEO Bob Iger spoke about the project during a quarterly earnings call with investors, and the streaming service will launch in 2019. In addition to the Star Wars live-action series, Iger said we'll also be getting a TV series based on the 2001 Pixar film Monsters, Inc.
Yes!
And one based on the TV channel, Disney Channel film franchise High School Musical.
Who cares?
And an original Marvel series.
Yes!
So a lot to unpack there. I think we can safely say that Disney's deal with Netflix is done.
Yep.
And there are rumors also that they'll be wrapping up the Defenders with this because why would they want to put this out? It also means they're probably going to be wrapping up the Runaways fairly soon as well, which is about to debut like next week or something.
Yeah, that show's doomed.
Yeah. I think there are other
I guess you
properties.
could theoretically move it there if it's doing really well.
I guess that's true. Yeah, later seasons.
I don't know. Like I don't know what the like what you
What
would have
that
to
deal,
pay.
yeah.
To make that happen.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, live action TV show. I'm down
I'm
for
in.
it. Yeah.
I'm totally in a live action Star Wars show. I'm totally down with. Let's
Yeah.
do it. I've wanted this my whole life. This is something I've always wanted. They could have announced just this, and I would pay for it.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I'm with you there. I would. Yeah.
I
it's
saw
sort
a
of-
bunch of Star Wars fans hating on this.
Well, let's be fair. We weren't crazy about Disney going off and making their own streaming service. That's what it's not about the live action series as much as Disney having its own
It's a
streaming
bitch
service.
that you got to pay for a new streaming service.
Because this is following sort of in the vein that CBS and other...
Yes, but CBS only has CBS properties, and almost nobody gives a shit about CBS properties.
Tell that to all the people who watch those crime shows for CSI
But you can watch
Yamacraw.
but you can watch them all on repeat on any other like TBS or whatever station. You know what I mean? Like other than their Star Trek show, there's nothing on there where people are like, well, I gotta subscribe to that thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a rough.
And,
Yeah,
like,
that's a rough
and that's the
sell.
thing, like when but people did, like, people have subscribed specifically to CBS just for that
Trek,
that
yeah.
Star Trek show.
That's true.
Like, but like Disney has way more than that. Like they have
Yeah.
so much. They've got Star Wars. They've got, you know, all the Disney movies. They've got all the Disney shows. They've
Yeah.
got Marvel. Like they have so much. Like a Disney streaming service.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm already gonna get this service, but I will say this does make me want them to to make that deal with Fox happen, because that means there's only even more that'll be added to
even
that
more
catalog.
content going into that. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And let me just
That
say,
could be a killer for Netflix at that point. Like if they're
Yeah.
because
well, they're doing so great with the stand-up comedy thing. All the stand-up specials are going there.
yeah, but we also know financially they're
Spending a lot.
yeah.
But like if they're able to retain a lot of subscribers,
Yeah.
you know, and continue to make their content's amazing.
It is.
Their
It is.
content, like they're like not just the Marvel shows, but like all of their content.
They have a lot of good
Stranger
stuff.
Things.
Yeah.
You know, people love that. You know, there's been a lot of great TV shows coming out of Netflix.
Yeah.
So as long as they keep doing that, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But let me just say that, like, I just want to say one more thing about
Monsters,
this story.
Inc.
Monsters Inc.
I'm
watched-
excited,
Dude,
'cause-
I am so fired up about
I
this.
know, I'm
I
crazy.
just watched this movie with my kids like 2 weekends ago.
Is that your first time watching it?
No.
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen it. I've
Okay.
seen it
So,
plenty
yeah,
of times.
I watched it several times. It's my favorite. If it wasn't for The Incredibles, this would be my favorite. Pixar
Oh
movie.
my god, I love the original Monsters Inc. movie, but damn it, that final scene, now that I have kids, I cried like a bitch. Like a bitch. Like somebody kicked me in the balls at the end of that movie. It was just gut wrenching. I was like, oh, my kids are like, whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I had to get up and leave the room.
I don't blame you. That's a gut wrenching. Like that's an emotional. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I can't wait for this TV show. I
Yeah.
love this universe.
Like people talk about like you know the opening scene for Up obviously is like that. Like,
I've never seen that movie.
oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Just
Lucky
the
you.
opening scene might like take like
Yeah.
you may have to turn it off after that.
Is it like BoJack? Is it BoJack bad?
No, it's just depressing.
Like
It's
it
like-
just like it is the most depressing and heartbreaking.
It's like the
opening
Dory,
5 minutes.
The Dory movie plus like the last seconds of Monsters Inc. plus like Bambi's mother getting shot plus like
Yeah, it's like everything filed into like
it
packed
starts
into
to
5 minutes.
happen. You're like, oh my god, this is the first 5 minutes of the movie. Where do we go from here?
And you're just so like it just kill like it totally destroys your soul. So you have to spend the rest of the movie building up your soul again.
Yeah.
which it does fantastically.
Yeah.
Like Up is an incredible movie, but Monsters Inc. was like I like Toy Story,
Yeah, Toy Story was okay.
but and again, like Toy Story has some great, like Toy Story 3 has one great, especially amazing moment. But Monsters Inc. is my movie.
That movie is fantastic.
I have loved forever, and it's such a cool world too.
It really is.
I would love to see them do like what is Japan like in the alternate monster universe, or what like there's so many things they really could do with that universe and that world and that I guess dimension. I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on board.
I'm totally in.
I kind of want to
just
go and watch it again right now.
I'm not ready to cry.
All right, so Disney is incredibly confident in Rian Johnson. They've like there's been so little drama with the guy that we haven't heard of drama with the guy.
Yeah.
And they've had a difficult time keeping drama in house with all their other directors.
I mean, it is Star Wars.
Right. But they are clearly confident in him and The Last Jedi because they have announced a new trilogy that will be produced and directed by Rian Johnson and producing partner Ram Bergman. The new trilogy will be separate from the Skywalker saga of the prequels, original, and sequel trilogies, and will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored, and that's according to Kathleen Kennedy. She said, "We all loved working with Rian on The Last Jedi. He's a creative force, and watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the great joys of my career. Rian will do amazing things with the blank canvas of this new trilogy."
That's a hell of a statement. Like
That
that
really
is a shining statement.
Like right now, they are they are super confident in The Last Jedi. And that makes me only so much more excited for this movie. I am afraid that my hype for this movie is gonna be so far, like, it's gonna raise my expectations too high. I'm gonna need to watch the prequels going into this movie just to like
bring
me back down.
I was like, hey, we could be getting this.
Yes. I need to like bring myself back down to earth before going into this movie.
No, I love you.
Sand.
I killed them all.
Like animals.
No.
You killed her in your anger.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think we're gonna get that bad.
No, we're not. But like, seriously, like the hype for this, like, we got a little over a month to this movie.
Yeah.
I can't stop. Like, I watched the trailer for like almost every day. I've been watching the trailer for this movie and the new WoW cinematic Battle for Azeroth.
You gotta stop, man.
I know, but
You
it's
gotta
so hard
stop.
not
You got a
to.
problem.
Yeah, you got
I
a
do.
problem, dude. Yeah,
I
you
do.
are gonna be a little too hyped for this. You just need to like, all right, like take it to every other day. You need to wean yourself off of that hype train
All right.
and just take
I'll
it
try.
easy because we're gonna get some new stuff. So like, you just need to kind of pace yourself. Like I'm super confident this movie's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
But I've only watched that. Jenny watched it maybe 2 weeks ago for the first time.
Okay.
Where she was like, "What's this new Star Wars trailer like?" And she started playing. I was like, "Oh, let me wander over and watch." But that was like the first time I've watched it, like since the
premiered,
initial. Yeah, when I watched it like
a month
3
ago.
times. Yeah. So I've only seen it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I feel really great about the movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm not into the whole like let's break it all down and let's figure out what's like. I just
see, I love that.
Like I'm just like I just want to be happily surprised by it all.
But see, you
I don't wanna have it
enjoy
too
the
much in-
theorizing. I
No.
like that was part of like. I love that experience though, like the theorizing and trying to come up with like different ideas. And I know
I like
I'm
doing
gonna be
it.
so
I like
far
doing
off.
a post-mortem.
Okay.
I like doing it afterwards and being like, "Hey, this would have been done better, or this could have been done. You know, like this is how I would have done that and told that story." I enjoy
Yeah.
that a whole lot more because I feel like what you're experiencing, like I don't want to experience. I don't want to have that.
Did
Like,
Lost really hurt you that badly?
yep. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It was awful. You sons of bitches.
Oh my god! Because I remember a time when you loved doing that.
Yeah.
I did, and I've learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. Now I just want to be happily surprised. I want to go into it and just be like, wow, like that was just a great experience. Did I really love it? Did I not love it? Versus it didn't match my level of expectation because I had already written the movie in my head.
Yeah.
And I think that's a danger that we as fans run into far too often.
is
We're
true.
so obsessive about it. We're so excited about it, which is great. I get it. Like believe me, nobody loves Star Wars more than me, but you can also get to that point where you're so obsessed about it that nothing is going to make you happy. You know, and those were the people that like bothered me like when they announced the Star Wars show. Like I did see people going like, "Oh god, like too much Star Wars, man. Star Wars overload." I'm like, "Are
That
you
I-
high?
yeah.
Like
That
what's
I
wrong
disagree
with
with,
you?"
yeah.
Like there's no such thing. Like, if we're
Yeah.
getting great content, it's great content. Like,
Yeah, and I, to be perfectly honest, I still expect there, like, as time goes on, there are going to be better stories told, and there are going to be some that are not going to be my thing. You know, I don't pretend to believe that, like, they're all going to be amazing, you know, and we're fortunate that right now they've done some good stuff. And I've also said that, like, I'd like to see them go in some different directions. This is what I'm most excited about with this trilogy.
Yeah.
Is the announcement that it's new characters, different part or different time in the in this galaxy.
corner of the galaxy that we haven't explored before. Sounds interesting to me.
Like, it's big enough 'cause it
Star
could
Wars
be-
lore that has never been explored before, which means we're not getting. I don't think we're getting Old Republic. We're not getting Bane. We're gonna get something that has it, like
Right.
brand new.
We're not getting
characters.
Skywalkers.
Right, which is great.
Yeah, which,
Like,
as much as I love the Skywalkers,
we're not getting anything in the Legends category. Like, this is
Right.
all new stuff, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So I'm excited about. I'm really excited about that. Kathleen Kennedy also in an interview on the Star Wars show last week also mentioned that there are going to be future adventures. She specifically mentioned characters like Rey, Finn, Poe, BB-8. Who knows who of those characters actually make it out of this sequel trilogy? She didn't mention Kylo Ren, which was kind of an interesting, you know, character to leave out. But we'll see. I'm not going to take that as like.
For sure, what's going to happen?
Yeah,
right.
exactly. But I do like the idea that we will get more time with those characters too, because I really do like these characters. You know, I went in super hyped into Force Awakens, and I loved it too. And I don't care what people, you know, how people have criticized it, and I even agree with some of the criticisms, but I still love the movie a whole lot. So, yeah, it's gonna. I'm really excited. Like I just don't have any idea of what they're gonna do with this. Like what I know lots of people are theorizing different things that they've seen here and there, you know. But man, I'm excited to see what he creates, and then you know, hopefully we also get other things surrounding that new corner of the galaxy that he explores. You know, to see a guy like Dave Filoni really work in that world as well and create some animated series as well, or to see comics come out of that, to see books come out of that. Like I'm excited for all of that. So for all those people who say we have a Star Wars overload, we're nowhere
You're
close.
listening to the wrong podcast,
Right.
man.
Here's the way I see it. You know, we get what? 2-3 Marvel movies, may end up being 4 Marvel movies a year. And I'm only saying MCU. Like, I'm not including anything Sony's putting out or anything Fox is putting out, which is technically Marvel. But MCU material has been good. They took a little while to get into the groove. They've learned some things here and there from each phase to phase. And the thing is, we're in phase 1 of Star Wars. So how can we be overloaded already? I'm not sure. I can't understand that thought process.
I don't get it. I don't understand how people are like, well, we're getting too much Marvel. Like, I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the best thing. This is the best time to be alive ever. I'm just praying I live long enough to see the end of the road. You know, that's all I'm praying for every night is, Lord, just keep me alive to get to the end of whenever this ride stops.
To have your Moses moment at the end before they go into the end of the Promised Land.
Before they finish phase 73. Like, I'm like, all right, this shit's getting old. Like, I'm ready to go, Lord. That's my dream.
All right, let's get into TV shows real quick. Now, I know you did not watch The Gifted this past week, so we'll save The Gifted from this past week
We'll double up next week.
Yeah, for next week. Yeah, we'll just get around to that next week. Inhumans.
It's over.
We got the finale, guys. It's over, guys.
Hallelujah.
The nightmare is over.
We've crossed to the other side.
I had to watch it twice to actually understand what happened, because I was watching it the first time and I was on my phone, and I looked up a couple times and I hit like a couple plot points. I watched it the second time. I was like, oh yeah, I did actually get it all that first time.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, this was so convoluted and so dumb. I'm glad it's over.
There was only one thing that made me interested to see, like, what they could have been going for. It was that Black Bolt was scared about some other threat. I'm assuming it's the Kree.
Obviously, because it leads right into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and
like that. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. It's like, this is just a setup for the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Except it wasn't really, because that was such a minor part of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, like they didn't really focus on it. They didn't build it up. So, like, we're going to get that whole story told in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true.
Is exactly what's going to happen. It's like, this is just a prequel to the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which looks fun as hell. That trailer looks great.
Glad we finally got a trailer. That's the first trailer for this season.
Well, then that's because they were holding on to it because like that whole Kree giveaway at the end of the end of the season,
and a guy who kind of looks like a Star-Lord knockoff.
Yeah, interesting. So there's a lot to be excited about for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any intention of bringing this show back.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. There can't be. Nobody was watching it. We were just doing it for the reviews at this point, just because we felt an obligation to watch it.
We really need to rethink our lives. Like that was a poor choice because that was not good TV. Right, can we start a petition and get what's the producer's name?
Scott Buck should never work in Hollywood again.
Can somebody accuse him?
No.
Like I know we said that we don't want that to happen. But can somebody just accuse him? I'm just asking.
The CWD's. Oh no, that goes right down in that territory again with the new CW TV shows.
Oh,
that's right. Because was it Andrew Kreisberg?
Yep.
Also on that list.
There goes the Arrowverse.
Whew. No, they'll find someone else for it.
They'll find somebody to run it, but it's definitely going to be different.
It's not just Kreisberg, it's Greg Berlanti.
Yeah, but still, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. He is a huge creative force in the CWDC shows and the CW verse, I guess.
Arrowverse.
Arrowverse, yes, that's right. Yeah, that is a better name for it, I guess. I did watch all 4 of the shows this week. Supergirl was okay.
Yeah.
Interesting developments over on the bigger villain, but they're taking their time with it. The Flash?
Oh, that episode was garbage. That was horrible TV.
It really was. I don't know what they were thinking with that episode.
That was so dumb. That was horrible. The whole girls' night out thing, and then ending up in a strip club for the guys.
Yeah.
Where what's her name's daughter was stripped. Like, it was so dumb.
Yeah, and some of the emotional things that they tried to pay off just didn't work because of all that bad setup and all that bad story surrounding that.
You know what? Here's how it felt to me. It felt to me like they were trying to do like, hey, girl power. Hey.
Well, they were,
and they did, and that's all they were trying to do. They didn't try to tell a good story. They were like, we're just gonna do this because it's girl power. And they didn't think it through. They didn't write a good story. They just wrote girl power on the script. And then approved it,
which is a shame because those characters
are
great characters. Like
Felicity,
Iris has been great. Felicity has been great. I know a lot of people aren't like they. I have mixed thoughts on Killer Frost, but I do like Caitlin as a character.
Yeah, I like I'm not crazy about the actress.
Yeah,
but other than that, like I like the character.
Right. So it's really odd that they just
they butchered those
vastly
characters.
Missed the mark on this episode. Then follow up with Legends of Tomorrow. I love this show. I really do.
It's so much fun.
It really is.
It's ridiculous. It takes all the shit that Inhumans was and somehow shines it into a sparkling gem. It is amazing. I laugh hysterically through this show. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't get enough of this steaming pile of silly.
And then Arrow also not great this week. This was not a great week for the CWDC.
Well, this seems like they're leading into like the big tie-in for the crossover event.
Yeah, I haven't felt it yet, but I'm sure they will.
I think Legends kind of sparked like what that's going to be.
Yes, that's true. And you know what? They did have a pretty big development with Legends. Seeing Damien Dark back was actually pretty huge. And he is like, as much as he was not great on Arrow, he was amazing on Legends last season. And even in this one episode, it is great to see him back.
Yeah.
That is a show where the magic element really works. I think we're expecting a Constantine appearance sometime this season.
Oh, sweet.
On Legends. and there's some other. I think other characters are slated to appear as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see more Legends for sure.
That's been
Arrow. The only thing that was optimistic about Arrow is there was some interesting developments with Deathstroke and seeing Manu Bennett back has been was definitely great this episode. But the story was a little convoluted. I didn't care as much until they got into like the last few minutes of the episode. So Walking Dead. We had sort of the perspective on King Ezekiel.
Yeah.
You did. Wow, that was a very apathetic. Yeah.
It was kind of. That's how I felt at the end of the episode.
That's
how I felt at the end of the episode. I was just like, yeah.
It wasn't subtle, but I thought it was a really good episode. I liked the way they kind of explored his character. I liked the whole like looking at sort of his facade of being a king and what it means to his people and what it means to himself.
What
as well.
people? Like there's like 15 people left in town.
Yes, but still, like, here's the thing. Jerry is still amazing.
Jerry's badass. Jerry's bad.
Carol is still amazing.
Carol is amazing. Yeah. It was a good episode. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I have a real
You didn't feel anything when Shiva died?
No. All I thought was, well, they finally eliminated the biggest expense on this season.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
I mean, that's exactly. And Kirkman basically said that in Talking Dead. It was
I don't watch Talking Dead anymore.
I try not to. For whatever reason, I just couldn't get off the couch. Like I was just so apathetic after that episode, I didn't get up. And it was basically what he said was like, yeah, like it was the biggest expense of the season. Like, of course we got rid of her soon. Yeah. Like, you know, what are you going to do with it? You can't just keep having a CG tiger running around. Like it's TV. We don't have that kind of money. So, you know, I thought it was a dumb death. Like there's no way, like that tiger could have jumped away at any point in time. Yeah. But whatever. Yeah. You know, I was just like, okay, that's that's happening. You know, Jenny was like, oh, not the tiger. And then she was like, whatever. And I kind of was like, yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And I kind of feel that way about Ezekiel, too. Like, he's just he's such a ridiculous, over-the-top, stupid character.
But you don't think they exposed sort of like...
Yes, I'm glad they exposed about how ridiculous he is. Yeah. But here's my problem with it, though, is they did it by having a just as stupid, ridiculous, over-the-top character do it to him with that Gunther, which was the guy who captured him. Oh, yes. The savior who captured him.
The guy who looked like he had been watching Three's Company to
or he's like Jeffrey,
like
he's Jeffrey Dahmer's like stand-in. Yes. is who that guy was. Yes, and like he's again. It's my problem starts to become with the saviors is like where are you finding all of these psychopaths?
Okay, so here's the thing, though. I disagree with that logic because we have seen, like, that's been the journey of this show from the beginning is we're seeing people turn to that because you yourself have said that, like, sometimes, like, people need to kill in this world. So, like, you don't think that is that order? Like, we've seen those kind of, like, fascist regimes exist in the real world. So how is it that unbelievable for it to happen in The Walking Dead, where you see a crazy dictator?
Because you're living in such a smaller sample size.
We've seen so many crazy dictators in just the 20th century. You don't think it's possible for a Negan to exist in the world of The Walking Dead?
Yes, it is possible for a Negan to exist in the world of The Walking Dead. Yeah. It's not possible for him to find how many saviors are there. And every single one of them is more despicable than the last until you get to Negan.
I don't know if I feel that they're more despicable. I think
you're convoluting what you read in the comics with what's being shown on TV. On TV, every savior is the worst person you've ever met in your life.
You think so?
Yes.
That's why I disagree a little bit because. Like, we saw Morales last episode, and it was good that they left it at that really short bit, but they showed that people can take that journey to get there. We've seen Rick play with that madness as well. It's not like Rick has been a good guy throughout the series. You know, he's done terrible things.
No, but when you're faced with, like, the run-of-the-mill savior, they traditionally show guys like Gunther, who's the dude with the mustache?
Right, but they've shown that
like, it's too many. It's too many. It's too much. Like this show is just veering into no longer grounded, interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming comic booky to me. And that like it's fine. It's
guess
okay.
I've always thought
I
it
just
was
don't
comic
really care anymore, really, at the end of the day. Like it's just these characters are starting to become people I don't care about anymore because they're becoming more and more comic booky.
I guess I've always thought they were comic booky. Even on the show. Like I don't know. I don't know. I think it's funny. Like the last 2 seasons have had severe issues. I'm really enjoying this season though, and
this season's a market improvement.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but I don't like it's like okay. I know like the go-to like Stalin and Hitler had whole armies of guys following him. Is it that irrational to have a Negan have this, henchman like this,
Again, sample size. Like I go back to what are the odds that you're going to find every jackass that's still alive? Like that's where it doesn't make sense. Like Stalin had billions of people to find his generals.
That's true, but we've also seen with the Saviors that there are people who don't have that privilege. That that are sort of like the grunts of society.
Yeah, we barely see those people.
That's because they're not out in the open. They're working. They're the grunts, Like,
but
usually,
like the people with the guns that are fighting that you're actually having interactions with.
Yeah, because we're mainly seeing it from the perspective of our heroes, so they're not going to see the grunts.
Yeah, I know, but how many grunts are there? Were there thousands and thousands of grunts to make sense that there's a couple hundred bad guys?
Yeah, I guess.
You see what I'm saying? You see, like after a while, the math of like how many assholes are there following Negan starts to become improbable for me. It becomes improbable for me.
Yeah. All right. So then, Star Wars Rebels. We had the mid-season finale. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I thought it was it was fun. Like the space battle was a lot of fun. Like it was intense and it was cool. But
I like seeing a space battle. Yeah.
Ultimately, really, not a hell of a lot happened.
You mean other than Hera getting captured?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like to me, like that's not a big deal because we know she survives.
Yeah, and that's sort of my issue with that is knowing that she survives. It lacked a little bit of even though she got captured at the end, I was still expecting her to escape. So
I was expecting what's his name, the blind Jedi, Kanan to just like swap places with her. Like I was expecting that to happen.
Okay.
Like they lose Kanan at that point, and Hera earns her freedom. Like that would have been a much more. Like, oh shit, like things like the dynamics have really changed. Like now you're like, well, they got to rescue Hera. Right. Okay. I guess that's what we're waiting for next season to see how they rescue Hera. But we know they do. It lacked a lot of like that. Like for a mid-season finale, it lacked emotional weight. I guess if we didn't know that Hera survived, it would have been a much bigger deal.
Yeah, I'd agree on that. So.
But we didn't really learn anything new this episode.
No.
Other than Kanan's able to talk to the dogs now.
Well, yeah, and I am excited about the prospects of that. I just really like. Please make sure they like. I'm starting to doubt that Ahsoka is returning this season.
I don't even care if she does. I just want this last half of this final season to make sense. Like I'm feeling a little bit of last season Lost nerves here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Where I'm like, I'm not sure we're really gonna get a payoff.
I don't know
on
if
this.
I go that far.
Like I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of strings left untied.
Well, yeah, he has said that there are gonna be things left. Like he has set that expectation for a long time.
I mean, but like unsatisfactorily, this just sort of ends. Like there's no real, like we don't know what happens to some of these characters, and they're just like, it just stops, and you're like. I need to know what happened. Like I need there to be a definitive end to Ezra or Kanan's story.
Yeah.
Like I think that
I think we'll get that.
I'm not feeling that.
Really?
I'm not feeling that at all.
I don't
I'm
know.
not
if I agree
100%. I think I want there to be. I'm just not 100% confident at this point. We only got 2.
Yeah,
4,
I have
6,
a whole
8.
lot. I have more confidence that enough confidence in Filoni that I feel he will give.
Well, your
an end to
confidence
those
in
two
your
characters.
friends is your weakness.
God, I'm pretty sure you are an Imperial spy in our Scruffy Nerf Herders game,
I might be. Should talk to Case about that. That would be awesome.
right? All right. Well, upcoming in the next few weeks, we have got The Punisher coming out on Netflix on this Friday.
We're gonna do some live cut-ins on Instagram and Facebook about that.
Yeah, we will.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then Justice League is also coming out this Friday. We'll have our review the following week.
J. Mike, will you go watch it for us so we don't have to?
I'm gonna go see it. Stop. Just stop, Ben.
No.
Then we also have Marvel's Runaways will be debuting on Hulu on the 21st. And that's some of the big things coming up this in the next week. So be sure to check out all of our other podcasts, Another Pass, Scruffy Nerf Herders. We've been having episodes regularly for those. And, of course, our news show. We've had reviews for Thor Ragnarok. We've had our BlizzCon review. All of that you can check out on our website, certainpov.com. While you're there, you can also check out all our social media so you can follow the latest that's coming out from us. Again, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my Nerf Herders.